Well, welcome to non-Labor Day weekend. I'm back in here because I want to be, because I got too much energy to sit down for a while. There's too much going on in my life right now. There's too much shift that's happening. So I find that I make changes in my life faster when I give myself more mobility and then go into what it's saying more intensely than ever before. So those of you who want to go deep and fast, then I'm going to be doing that. I want to have fun, I want to have joy, I want to wake up to who I really am. And I want to stop jabbing around as far as me applying the ideas. So what I'm going to do is cover some material like we always do, and then I'm going to throw it open for questions or discussions for about 10 minutes max. And I want y'all to help hold me to that. 10 minutes max. Okay, because I want to keep moving forward in the material as well as get a chance to answer questions. I don't mind answering questions, but I'm not expecting anybody to agree, accept, welcome it, believe it. If you use it, you'll see that it's true. That's the rule of the course. You don't have to believe it. But if you use it, you'll see that it works. So I'm going to take a minute to get warmed up, a couple of minutes, and I'm going to warm up on the thought, I am sustained by the love of God. And from time to time, I'm going to change the word from God to other definitions of God that the Course in Miracles uses. Whether that's truth, whether that's abundance, whether that's freedom, whether that's whatever. Because we need to start associating the idea of God with different ideas than some giant human, superhuman in the sky that's handling things. Because that's not really what's going on. It's much deeper than that. It's much more powerful than that. So you don't have to join in, but it's great if you do. I'm just doing it to warm myself up also, because I know repetition is how I learn the insane things in the world. So it'll be repetition that I learn the sane stuff. And that's just the way it is. The only reason why I believe the way I believe is because of what I told myself over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So if I'm going to get a new belief, I need to say that over and over again. The difference is, if it's the truth, it doesn't take as long. Because if what you're saying is the truth, it's true whether you believe it or not. But if it's a lie, you got to believe it to make it true. So it's easier to do the truth than it is to do a lie. So here we go.
Woo, I love it. Oh, somebody just.
We want to get it real slow and funky. Yeah, I am saved, I am sustained by the love of God. 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 I am sustained by the love of truth. I am sustained by the love of truth. I am sustained by the love of truth. We got to keep on pushing love. No matter what's happening, we got to keep on pushing love. We can't go wrong. You can't go wrong if you're only pushing love. I am sustained by the love of God. I am sustained by the love. What about your freedom? I am sustained by the love of freedom. 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 I am sustained by the love of freedom because what do we have to do now? No matter how you want to kick some ass, got to keep on pushing love. Got to keep on pushing. Y'all feel so good, we got to go on. So what about the love? You are sustained by the love of God, not money, not being liked, not who you know, not pills, not influence, not being liked. That's not what's taking care of you. What's taking care of you, what's taking care of you is the love of God. I am sustained by 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 being juicy. I am sustained by being juicy. I am sustained by the love of my innocence. I am sustained by the love of my got to do it. We got to keep on what? Keep on pushing love. You got to shout it from. Shout it to the heavens above. Ooh. We got to keep on pushing love. What about the love of our abundance? I say, I am sustained by the love of my abundance. I am sustained by the love of my abundance. I am sustained by the love of my abundance. I am sustained by the love of my abundance. Abundance is my natural state. 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 I say abundance is my natural state. Abundance is my natural state. I accept my abundance. I accept my abundance. I accept my abundance. I accept my abundance. I accept my abundance.
I accept my abundance. I accept my abundance.
Whoa, that's up. We can give it to us. That's okay. It's permitted. Aliveness is permitted. So I'm going to be on the responsibility for sight on page 448 in the text, one of the most incredible, powerful sections of this whole friggin' book. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the paragraph, then I'm going to point out the points of the paragraph, throw it open for question or discussion for 10 minutes. I want everybody to hold me to this, 10 minutes, even if I'm the one that's talking to 10 minutes. Okay? And then we're going to go on. We're going to go forward. Okay? The responsibility for sight. The responsibility for sight. That's the same as saying the responsibility for how you see things. The responsibility for how you see things. The responsibility for how you see things. Did I say the responsibility for how you see things? That's right. I get it. There's no problem. That's all right. That's all right. Come on. They need to see all these beautiful bodies in my class. I think I'm going to watch this class next week. She might come through one more time. And I'll pick out the outfit next week, too. That's a good one. That's a good one, though. You're looking good, girlfriend. That's right. I'm telling you. So I'm going to go through the paragraph, and I'm going to read it dramatically. Even though that's unusual for me. Okay? We have repeated how little is asked of you to learn this course. We repeated how little is asked of you to learn this course. We repeated how little is asked of you guys, you jokers, to learn this course. The willingness that's asked of you to learn this course is the same small willingness you need to have your whole relationship transferred to joy. The little gift you offer to love, I'm going to say love, in place of the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit is love. It's the voice for love. It's the voice for truth. So a lot of times I'm going to substitute words that the Course in Miracles uses to define the words in the Course in Miracles. So the Course in Miracles says the Holy Spirit is the voice for love, the voice for truth. So it says, the little you offer to the voice for truth, the voice for love, for which it gives you everything, the very little on which your peace rests, which is the tainted change of mind by which the crucifixion is changed to resurrection. Your fear is changed to love. And being true, it is so simple that it can't fail to be completely understood. It's so simple, it can't fail to be completely understood. It's so simple, it can't fail to be completely understood. Reject it, yeah, y'all can reject it. You can reject it, but it's not ambiguous. And if you choose against this little thing that's asked of you right now to make your life beautiful and loving, it will not be because it's obscure. It will be rather that this little cost seemed, in your judgment, to be too much to pay for peace. So, do you have a little willingness to have your whole relationships transformed to joy?
Yes.
Are you willing to see what the little offering is you need to give to your higher self in order for you to receive everything that you really want?
Yes.
And it's going to be simple. It's going to be so simple that you can reject what I'm saying, but you can't say you don't understand what I'm saying. So let's get clear. The Spirit is telling us, Purdy, you can reject what I'm saying, but you can't say you don't understand what I'm saying. And it says that if you choose against it right now, it'll be because you think this cost that I'm asking of you is too great, that this seems like this is too much to pay for peace. So if you don't want to do this, the Course says, this is because you see what I'm about to ask you to do is too much to pay for peace. That what I'm about to tell you is simple, but you could reject it because you think it's just too much for you to do. Everybody, okay, any questions or discussions about that paragraph? Everybody don't understand what I just said. That there's a simple thing you're going to be asked to do. It's so simple that the only thing you can do is reject it. But you can't claim you don't understand what you're being asked to do. But you could reject it. Everybody with me on this?
Yeah.
Okay, and what's so cool about it is it's telling us that it says in which God gives you everything. It says in which Spirit gives you everything. It's not even saying you got to do it. It says if you will make this simple decision, I'll give you everything. This is like me coming to you and I want to offer you $1 million worth of gifts. And I say, if you just do this one simple thing, I'll give you the gifts. I didn't say if you do something, I'll give you the gift. I said if you accept this one simple thing, then I'll give you the gift. Any questions, any comments about the first paragraph? There's only one simple thing. Now, is it going to be simple?
Yes.
Okay, so the only thing you can do is what?
Reject it.
Reject it. Okay, we want to go to the next paragraph? Okay, this is the only thing, 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 this is the only, did I say only thing? This is the only thing you need to do for what? Vision. This is the only thing you need to do for happiness. This is the only thing you need to do for the release from pain. This is the only thing you need to do for this complete escape from sin. Now you hear the word sin, the Course in Miracles says that its definition of sin is any perception you believe you can't change. So its definition of sin has nothing to do with what the Bible says, the way people traditionally say. The Course said the only sin is you believing that you could make a mistake that couldn't be corrected by God. That you could make a mistake that couldn't be corrected by Spirit. He said, in a sense, that's the sin because that's you and me deciding that we've done something that's irreversible and uncorrectable. Wow. And so it goes on to say, this is the only thing you need to do. And it says, all to be given you. Given you. It says, all to be, did I say given you?
Yeah.
Okay, is there anybody in you who doesn't know what given means? It's given paying. It's given the same as paying.
No.
It's given the same as earning.
No.
Okay, don't want to be clear about this. I'm not talking about anything that you have to earn, anything that you have to pay. The Course is saying this is going to be given to you. This is all you need to do for vision, happiness, release from guilt, and the complete escape from any mistake that you think is uncorrectable. All to be given you. And then the next thing it says is, say only this. 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 Mean it with no reservations, because here the power of your peace, which is salvation, lies. Okay, so this is the instruction. Say this, say only this, but say it with no reservations, because that's where the power of your happiness lies. Say it with no reservations is not the same as saying believe it with no reservations. You can say things. Okay, is there anybody in this room that's mute? I want to check. Is there anybody in this room that's incapable of speech? Because if you are, we'll make it rain. We can also work with you too. But as far as I know, there's not a person in this room that's mute. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay, so you're totally innocent whether you say it or not. I have no problem with that. No problem at all. But it says, if you were to say this, it would be all you need to do for vision, happiness, release from pain, and this complete escape from everything you think is uncorrectable in your life. Sounds like a good deal to me.
Yeah.
Say this. Sort of like an incantation. Say this. Okay, I'll say it first. And I'll go through it line by line. So to maybe to make it easier for me to say it, right? It says, I am responsible for what I see. I am responsible for what I see. You don't have to say it now. I'm going to go through these lines. Okay, I'm glad y'all own it. Y'all like, goddamn right, I want some vision and some happiness and some release from sin. Goddamn right. Really, y'all, in my real life, I swear a lot, so just take it, okay? Okay. I'm sick of trying to be nicey. Not to kill me. All right. Please, I'm telling you. Please. Paragons of spiritual strength, but don't say ass. I will die right before your eyes. Okay, here we go. I want to explain this because there's some misperceptions that go with each one of these lines. I am responsible for what I see. I am responsible for what I see does not mean I'm the one that's responsible for what I see. In other words, when I first heard this, it made me think that I was like physically responsible for what I saw everybody else going through. Did anybody's mind kind of go there? I am responsible for what all of a sudden get kind of heavy. No, I am responsible for what I see means I am responsible for what I see, fear or love. I'm responsible for what I see, separation or oneness. I'm responsible for what I see, guilt or innocence. I'm responsible for what I see, lack or abundance. I'm responsible for what I see, freedom or limitation. You got it? I'm responsible for what I see. Okay. Which you would just, if you want to change a word, change what to how. And then that would be, I am responsible for how I see. Okay, got it? Mm-hmm. That's the first sentence. The second sentence goes, I choose the feelings I experience. I choose the feelings I could feel cool. I could feel crappy. I could feel happy. I could feel sad. I could feel optimistic. I could feel depressed. I could feel excited. I could feel upset. You are choosing the feelings you are experiencing right now. Whatever anybody's feeling in this room right now, you're choosing to feel. You could choose to feel really good right now. You could choose to feel really grateful right now. You could choose to feel really happy to be here right now. You know, you could choose to really feel excited right now. But whatever you're feeling right now, you're choosing it. Now, how can you change it? How can you change it? By recognizing that you're giving everything you see all the meaning that it has for you. Because it's the meaning you're giving to it that's determining the feelings you're choosing. First, this is the way it works, y'all. If you really want to get to a place where you're happy all the time, here's a tip. This is what happens. We only feel raw feelings that are just feelings at first. No judgment, just feeling. Then we attach a story to the feeling. And then the story we attach to the feeling is what's giving us the emotions that we're going through. Feeling is innocent. Feeling is cool. Feeling is just friggin' feeling. But what happens is we attach a meaning to the feeling and then react to the meaning we've given to the feeling, and that's why we're not happy or happy or happy. But when you really wake up to your power, you realize what you want to go for is the feeling without the story, because the feeling without the story is called happiness. If you were to be honest, there isn't any difference between the feeling of depression and the feeling of peace. The only difference between them is the way you are seeing it. Have you ever broke up with somebody in a relationship and found yourself in a perverse kind of way, kind of enjoying the yearning that you have for them if you want them back? Like you would find yourself, like if you be honest, you're kind of getting off on the, oh, I wish I could maybe run into them at the Taste of Colorado this weekend. I might see him, but I hope I don't see him plunging his tongue down some chick's throat. Because I might choose a feeling that makes me throw something. Yeah. Remember, I was looking at this HBO television show called Girls. I don't know if any of you all seen it. It was a trip. And this young lady had just broke up with her boyfriend, and she saw him 2 weeks later at a rave, and she walked up there, and he had been playing the band. As soon as he got through playing, this girl jumped into his arms and wrapped her legs around him and was kissing him, and she was like, he had been so devastated when they broke up that she was almost like coming over there just to speak to him, just to try to be nice and console him, because she just knew he was like suffering, right? And so she walks up there, and then the new girlfriend was like, "Who are you?" You know, she was like, and she like freaked out. You mean he didn't even mention me? You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like she was so upset because in 2 weeks he had been completely replaced with somebody who was totally in love with him, totally can't wait to see him, full of passion for him, jumping up and down. And her problem with him when they were together was he was too loving. He was smothering her with too much attention. I used to have that when I was in high school. Sometimes the girls would break up with me because they said I was too nice, but I got over that. So, but I would hear that would be the truth. It was like being penalized for being loving. It's like, because you're a nice, loving guy, you don't really get nobody turned on. You know, until you meet other people who love themselves, then they get turned on by loving people. People who don't love themselves, they don't get turned on by loving people. They get turned on by people who give them a hard time. Loving people, truly loving people get turned on by truly loving people. So I realized it didn't have nothing to do with me, actually. But she chose the feelings that she experienced. She chose the feelings she experienced. So how can you change a feeling that you experience? You change a feeling that you experience, and by getting in touch with the story you're giving yourself about the feeling. The story you're attaching to what's going on. The meaning that you're giving to what's going on. So you are choosing the feelings you experience by choosing the meanings you give. And what the Course in Miracles does is it gives you new meanings. So the beauty of the Course in Miracles is that if you study the book, it gives you new meanings. And if you learn the new meanings, it gives you new feelings. And that's how you change a feeling. Most people want to change their feelings without changing their meanings, because they don't learn new meanings. And then it says, and I decide upon the goal I would achieve. You decided that you would come here today. You decided on the goal you would achieve. And there are but two goals. What? Love or fear. Happiness or sadness. Abundance or lack. It's the same thing. So the Course says you decide upon the goal you would achieve. And then the last line, which is my favorite line, says, and everything, anything. When you say anything, it gets another juice to it. Let me say it another way. Anything that seems to happen to you. Notice the difference in saying anything that seems to happen to you rather than everything. Everything sounds so big and vast that it's kind of hard to focus in on everything. But if I say anything that seems to happen to you today, you have asked for. And you are receiving just the way you ask for it. So how would I empower myself? I got the bank account I asked for. I got the maid I asked for. I got the relationship I asked for. I got the job I asked for. I got the car I asked for. I got the house I live in I asked for. I got the body I asked for. I got the feelings I asked for. Everything in my life right now I asked for. I got this number of people in this class that I asked for. Everything, I got the microphone I asked for. I got the book I asked for. I got the stand I asked for. I have the glasses I asked for. And it says everything that seems to happen to me. Everything, and notice it says seems to happen to me. It didn't say it actually happened to me. It said everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for, fear or love. And I receive as I have asked, fear or love. Everybody got it? Any questions about that? Yes.
So when you were talking about the feelings, so let's say I ask a girl out and she says no.
Yes.
And all of a sudden I have this feeling. And then I attach the story to it that, oh, she rejected me.
That's right.
That means that something's wrong with me. That's made up.
That's the story you told yourself. That's the meaning you gave. So one day to get to the point, like it is with me, more, when somebody seems like they rejected me, it's like rejection is protection and redirection. Rejection is protection. Thank you, young lady, for protecting me from you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for not wanting to go out with me and want to spend time with me. Oh, God, I'm not lucky that she didn't want to go. Oh, I'm so glad she didn't make love to me. Jesus Christ. Oh, I'm so glad. Oh, please. Oh, God, she didn't kiss me. Thank God. That's where you'll be when you wake up. You'll know that everything that happens to you is for your own best interest, so you'll not feel like you were rejected. You feel like I was protected. Because I know I'm cool. You see what I'm saying? You know you're valuable. You know you're loving. Every one of you know that. So if somebody who would reject you, that's saying more about them than it's saying about you. I know I'm cool. So if somebody see me as somebody they feel like they got to reject, that's okay. Because you don't recognize love. You don't recognize coolness. But that's okay, because I'm the same way. I do the same thing. I sometimes miss love right in front of my face also. Well, after this month is my 25th anniversary of teaching the Course in Miracles full time. And it's in the stories and the adventures that I've had in the last 25 years, it would be listed under the area of science fiction. Really, people would not believe the experiences that I've had in the last 25 years of all types. You know, because I was willing to follow my heart, even if it seemed insane to everybody around me, wondering how I was going to make it if I stepped out of the world to follow what I really want to do. You're going to do what now? You're going to teach this little weird book called A Course in Miracles that says there is no sin and guilt and you're infinite and you're eternal in the belt buckle of the Bible belt called Memphis, Tennessee. And you can also do astrology and numerology, and this is how you're going to make it in the world. Ha! And you're going to do it on the donation, what I call financial expression of appreciation offerings. And 25 years later, I don't look like I'm any worse for wear, because I was willing to say this every day, and I say it every day, and I focus on it every day, because it's the only. He said, "This is the only thing you need to do. This is the only thing you need to do. It's the only thing you need to do." He didn't say it's the only thing you need to do. So now you see what I meant earlier, don't you? When I said you can reject it, but you can't say it's not simple, and you can't say you don't understand it. Then the mind goes, yes, but. Yes, but it could not be. It couldn't be this. No, are you saying you're rejecting it? Yes, he said you would. That you could reject it. You could reject it, but you haven't really tried seeing it on any consistent level, have you? Well, no, I just know it wouldn't work. Any other question from anybody about what I've said? That was pretty deep stuff I just said. Any thoughts about it? Any comments? Not even a question. Yeah.
So is it saying that it's what we choose to create, not that there's some truth that exists apart from us? Like, in other words, if I choose love over fear, how do I know I'm not just kind of making it all up?
Well, the way that you can know you're not making something up is how long it lasts. If something is not real, it's temporary, and if something is real, it's permanent. It never ends. But you can use the temporary to move you toward the permanent. So every time there's no such thing as ever choosing for love, which is the same thing as saying choosing for peace and it not being to your advantage and to your benefit. So anytime you choose for peace, you're moving in the right direction at whatever level you choose for peace. So that's a very legitimate question, but every time you choose for peace, and the answer to the first part of your question, which I thought was great, is there some truth beyond what we believe? That's what the Course in Miracles is about. That's what makes the Course in Miracles my favorite spiritual teaching, because it was the one that said, you know, there is a reality beyond what you believe that has nothing to do with what you believe. And you want to get to that reality, because that reality is full of love. That reality is cool. That reality is full of joy. That reality is full of abundance. And it's on the other side of your beliefs. So there's reality, which is love, your beliefs, which you perceive, and you. So between me and you is my interpretation of you. Between me and you is my belief about you. So between you and anybody in your life is your beliefs about each other. And it's the beliefs you have about each other that's determining how you feel about each other. But there's a reality about me that's beyond anything you believe about me. There's a goodness about you that's beyond anything I believe about you. Thank God. Thank God that God loved us too much to make what we are be dependent on what we think about each other. That would be the cruelest God in the universe. If I had to wait till everybody, wait till people want to look out for me, or people see me as innocent, boy, I'd be screwed. You know, the Course in Miracles says, God loves you too much to leave who you are up to the people around you. That's what I love about the book, because that makes perfect sense to me. I certainly don't want how much love I receive to be dependent on the judgments of everybody else around me as to whether or not I deserve to be taken care of. And I know that all the people around me are judging whether or not they should take care of me based on what I'm doing for them, or how well I'm acting out their script, or how well I'm doing it the way they want it. And if I'm doing it good enough, then you give me something. And if I'm not doing it good enough, you don't give me something. Thank God, my goodness, isn't based on such an erroneous, pathetic way of receiving. If you think I deserve it, then I get it. If I think you deserve it, then you get it. That's pitiful. That's pitiful. Don't y'all think that's pitiful? We'd be up the creek, wouldn't we? Really, think about that for a minute. If you only received help because people thought you deserved it, thank God it's something that loves us beyond what we think of ourselves and what people think of us. Thank God it's something that loves me beyond what anybody around me thinks of me, even me. I don't know about you, but my life has treated me better than I think I deserve to be treated. And it's been doing that for as long as I've been here. My biggest fear is that life's going to catch up with me. Some of y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. You feel like you just kind of got away with it because you know your life hasn't been like as hard as you're hearing people talk about all the time, and you know you haven't really done a damn thing. That's really, you really putting out your best effort, putting forth what you know you could do. Y'all know, some of y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. And you waiting for the piano to fall any day. You're like, I know I'm walking down the street and this piano gonna hit me because I just don't deserve the kind of life I've been. So you be real quiet and try not to, so people be telling you how bad things are going. You be, and then you go straight to the park under the tree, cool out and shit. You know, sometimes you feel guilty because you kick back, studying the truth, communing with God, and everybody you know working their butts off on a job they hate. And you sitting out there chilling out because you dared to say what you were told to say. You dare to look at it differently. You dare to do the simple thing and not reject it. And you see it work, but you watch everybody else working so hard because they still refuse to do the simple thing. They refuse to do the simple thing. Like say only this. Say it. Just say it. I can't say it. Say it. And so I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it first. I'm gonna be brave. All right? I'm gonna say it. Can I say it for you first?
Yes.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Can I say it?
Yeah.
Say it.
Can I say it? If I'm you, me saying it is you saying it if we're one.
Yes.
Right? So me saying it is you saying it if you're willing to see me as you. The Course in Miracles said something that was really powerful to me. Say, if you see yourself as joined with everything and everybody, then any good that anybody receives flows through your life. But it will come to you in the form that you need it in. So in other words, if something happened really wonderful to you, and I was to say that really happened, that was something happened wonderful to me as you, then the good that you receive from that would also flow to me because we're not separate, and so something could happen in my life that I would call good. Just because I was willing to see you as one with me. Because when I look at you, Diana, the truth is I'm looking at myself in another form. That's really the way I look at things. I just don't tell people, but that's the way I look at them. So I always figure whatever somebody's doing with me is what I want to do with myself, and most of the time I'm playing with myself in one form or another. And you certainly can't feel guilty about playing with yourself.
Nope.
You feel guilty because you think you played with somebody else. Think about what I'm saying. It's really true. So the person who thinks they're separate from everybody is automatically going to be the person who feels the most guilty about everything they do. A person who believes they're only loving and interacting with themselves couldn't hardly ever feel guilty about interacting with themselves. Think about it. Whenever you feel guilty, it's because you think you're separate from whatever's going on. And you think you're the only one doing it. You know, that's another thing the Course says. You can't feel guilty if you don't feel alone. Criminals will get together and talk about their burglaries and feel totally innocent, sharing how. Well, let me tell you. I'm gonna tell you about how I broke into that 7-Eleven. Now this is what the other one goes. Well, honey, let me tell you what I swiped out of Walmart. You wouldn't believe. They weren't even looking, and that. Why? Because both of them are the same, so they don't feel guilty talking about it. You don't ever feel guilty about doing anything with anybody that you see as the same as you. So if you're full of people in around situations and circumstances that you're always feeling guilty, you're around people that you think aren't the same as you. So you want to get rid of your guilt, get rid of the differences. That's what the Course taught me. It's like, isn't that simple? But can it be rejected? Yes. Why would I reject that? I still want to feel guilty. Why would I accept that? Because I'm ready to feel innocent and have a good time. Right?
Right.
Right. So here we go. I'm just going to say it first. I am responsible for what I see. I am responsible for what I see. I choose the feelings I experience, and I decide upon the goal I would achieve, and everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for and receive as I have asked. I choose. So you got to get it in the conversation. Don't make it like I'm in a class, I'm saying something. It's like, so you know what, y'all? I'm responsible for what I see. I choose the feelings I experience. I'm deciding upon the goal I would achieve, and everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for, and I'm receiving as I have asked. See, make it conversational. I am responsible. I'm responsible. I am responsible for what I see. I choose the feelings. I choose the feelings I experience, and I decide upon the goal I would achieve. And everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for and receive as I have asked. Now, if you find yourself feeling heavy, or you find yourself feeling guilty, or you find yourself feeling irritated by that thought, that simply means you are misinterpreting what it's saying. Whenever you hear a truth and you feel resistance and anger and upset, it means you are misinterpreting what it is saying. So if anybody who hears everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for and receive as I have asked, as something that depresses them, it simply means you are letting your ego interpret what I'm saying. Did anybody here have that feeling? Like instead of feeling really turned on by the fact that you could ask me anything you want and seem to receive it, you found yourself feeling like it was some kind of burden I was putting on you. Right, okay. Then all you have to do is tell yourself, I want to see this different. I'm misperceiving what this means. That's all. I'm misperceiving what this means. I'm misperceiving what this means. So what is your mind telling you that makes it feel heavy, if you don't mind sharing?
If I don't have good things, what have I done?
Right.
What?
Okay, that's a great question. If I don't have these things, what have I done? You know what she's done if she doesn't have those things? What she's done is not seen it as if she was responsible for what she sees. What she's done is not realized that she's choosing the feelings that she's experiencing. What she's done is not realize that she's deciding upon the goal she would achieve. And what she's not doing is realizing that everything that seems to happen to her, she asked for it. You know how we know that that's true? First of all, it feels heavy. And second of all, if you really heard that, you would know that that meant anything you were experiencing, you could change. You would know immediately that you could get out of any situation you think you're in. You would know for the first time in your life you weren't trapped in any situation whatsoever. Because if everything that seems to happen to me is me asking for it, all I have to do is what? Start asking for something else. Not focus on what I did in the past to create the situation that I'm upset about. What I would do is I would use this moment right here to start asking for what I want right now. So a person who realizes that in this moment you could free yourself from anything you've gone through by saying, everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for and receive as I have asked, and I ask for a miracle, and I ask for love, and I ask for the correct perception, and I ask for peace, and I ask for freedom, and I ask for joy, and I ask for abundance, and I ask for right companionship, I ask for a relationship with God, I ask to get in touch with my power, I ask for divine order. Because, oh, I did it, I can change it. Oh, I did it, I can give myself a different choice. I can give myself a different choice. Now, the ego begins to get weary whenever you're about to get rid of it. So I would venture to say some of you may be at this very moment having extreme difficulty staying conscious. I bet you some of y'all just like as zoned out as you can possibly be right now. And then I bet you some of you are going, God damn, this is what I've been wanting to hear all day. Come on, boy, keep on talking, Black man, keep on talking. Okay. I know it. I know there are only two reactions with the truth. Wake up, go to sleep. Wake up, go to sleep. Wake up, go. Those are only two reactions to any truth. Either they wake you up or they put you to sleep, depending on whether or not you have a struggle consciousness or whether or not you're ready to have things given to you. If you're a struggle consciousness person, you go to sleep. If you are a person that's ready to have it easy, then you wake up. And both are equally innocent because both of them are equally choosing what's going on. That's why I don't interfere with other people when they're struggling because I know that's their choice. And if they really wanted something different, they would just ask for something different, and the universe would give them all the support that they needed to make that change. The people would show up, the circumstances would show up, synchronicities would begin to happen, and before they knew it, they would be out of the situation that's bothering them. That's the way it works. The minute you say, I'm going to also agree that my life should be happy too. The universe is already saying it should be that way. I'm the only one that's disagreeing. The universe is already saying you deserve to be happy, Earl. It's about time you said, okay, I agree, I deserve to be happy too. I deserve to be happy too. I'm going to go along with that idea. I am responsible for what I see. I choose the feelings I experience. I decide upon the goals I will achieve. And everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for and receive as I have asked. 5 minutes. Some of you all just might want to listen and go, I am responsible for what I see. I choose the feelings I experience, and I decide upon the goal I would achieve. And everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for. Take a breath. Let me say it for you. Let me say it for you. Let me say it for you. Say it for you. Say it for you. I want to say it. I want to say it for you. Say what? I want to say it. I want to say it for you. Keep on walking, don't look back. See, your temptation is to look back at your old beliefs. The temptation is to look back at the way you were programmed by the world. The temptation is to do it the way your ego has always done it. The past is behind you. Let nothing remind you. The past is behind you. Let nothing remind you. The past is behind you. Let nothing remind you. The past is behind you. Let nothing remind you. The past is behind you. There's nothing behind. Just put your hand in somebody's hand around you. Leave all your troubles behind. Don't walk and don't look back. Don't look back. Look back at what? The guilt, the anger, the old relationship, your old beliefs, what you were taught as a child, what the world tells you, what you told yourself. I am responsible for what I see. I am responsible for what I see. I choose the feelings I experience. I choose the feelings I experience, and I decide upon the goal I would achieve. And I decide upon the goal I would achieve. And everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for. I ask for. I'll say that one more time and say, everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for. I ask for and receive as I have asked. Say what? And receive as I have asked. Don't look back at what your mama told you, what your daddy told you, what your teacher told you, what your enemy told you, what somebody who didn't recognize you told you. Don't look back and remember what the world told you. You gotta let go of what the world told you. You are not a victim of the world you see. You are not the victim of the world you see. I am not the victim of the world I see. What? I am not the victim of the world I see. Claim it. I am not the victim of the world I see. Say what? I am not the victim of the world I see. I am not the victim of. You gotta get it in your consciousness and go, I am responsible for what I see. I am responsible for what I see. I choose the feelings I experience. I choose the feeling I experience, and I decide upon the goal I would achieve. And I decide upon the goal I would achieve. And everything that seems to happen to me, I ask Also the good stuff. I'm not talking about only the challenging stuff. I'm talking about the love stuff, the cool stuff, the abundant stuff, the fun stuff, the abundant stuff, the play stuff, the loving stuff, the abundant stuff. You asked for that. Everything that's happened to you, even the good stuff. You asked for that. That was a request just as much as the stuff that makes you wonder why in the heck you even here in the world. See, we forget that. We're like, be ready to own the stuff. That's the stuff that doesn't make us feel good. But we'll forget the stuff that we're loving is also coming to us. Breathe. Deceive yourself no longer. That you are helpless in the face of what's done to you. Deceive yourself no longer. Stop saying you're helpless in the face of what seems like is being done to you right now. There's some things to me that looks like they're being done to me right now. And I've got to deceive myself no longer that I am helpless. I'm not helpless. I am not helpless. I'm not helpless. No matter what seems like is being done to me right now, I'm not helpless in the face of what looks like is being done to me right now. I'm not going to deceive myself any longer. I'm going to do the next line. I'm going to acknowledge, but that you have been mistaken, and all effects of your mistakes will disappear. I'll say this again. Acknowledge that you have made a mistake in whatever area you're feeling fear or conflict or lack or upset or dissatisfaction, wherever that is in your life right now. And each one of you, you know where that is. Wherever that is right now, acknowledge that you have been mistaken. So do you know what I do? I go, I've been mistaken. I've been mistaken. I've been mistaken. I made a mistake. I've been mistaken. If you got a financial situation in your perception that you think you're going through a lot of challenge and lack, acknowledge that you've been mistaken. Say, I have been mistaken. Now, is that simple? Yes. Can it be rejected?
Yes.
Yes. You know, Spirit gives us simple answers, but they're usually rejected. It's got to be more difficult than that to correct my current financial situation. It can't be just me telling myself I'm mistaken. Mistaken about what? Mistaken about thinking I'm helpless in face of this situation. I'm mistaken in thinking that this is being done to me. I'm mistaken in feeling like I'm helpless in this situation. I'm mistaken if I think I'm helpless in my relationship situation. I think that there's something about this situation that's not the way I want it to be, and it just looks like I'm a victim of it no matter what I try to do. I am mistaken if I think I'm helpless in the face of this situation. I am mistaken. If you acknowledge you are mistaken, your mistakes will disappear. If you acknowledge you are mistaken, your mistakes will disappear. If you acknowledge you're mistaken, your mistakes will disappear. If you acknowledge you are mistaken, the situation will disappear that's making you unhappy. It will disappear, 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 disappear. It's already appeared. It's time for some diss. You gotta diss it. You gotta diss your appear. It's time to diss your appear. I know it appears like this is going on, but I'm gonna disappear it. Who can tell me how to make something disappear?
Acknowledge.
Acknowledge what?
My mistakes.
And what is the mistake? Believing that I am helpless in the face of the situation. Believing that I am having this done to me and that I'm not the one that's asking for it. Me thinking that something is happening to me that I'm not choosing. Me believing that something is happening to me I'm not responsible for the way that I'm perceiving it. That's where I'm mistaken. So when it says acknowledge you're mistaken, it's talking about acknowledge you're making a mistake in the way that you're seeing the situation as being set up. That's the mistake. So if you're in a situation that is not bringing you peace and joy, you go, I hope I have been wrong. I hope I have been wrong. I hope I have been wrong. I hope I'm wrong about my financial situation. I hope I'm wrong about my relationship if I'm unhappy about it. I hope I'm wrong about my job if it makes me miserable. I hope I'm wrong about my body if I'm going through a sickness. I don't want to be right and miserable. You don't want to be right and miserable. You don't want to be right and miserable. If you're miserable, you want to be wrong about whatever you're telling yourself. And so how do I get out of this? It says, say only this. I am responsible for what I'm seeing right now. I'm choosing the feelings that I'm having right now. I decide on the goal I will achieve right now. And everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for and receive as I am asked. And receive as I have asked. Notice that I'm saying, how many times you heard me say this in the last hour? You notice I'm saying it over and over and over. You know why? Because the crazy stuff that I believe about myself, I learned that through hearing it over and over and over and over and over. But it doesn't take as long for the true stuff to work as it took for the other stuff that's not true to work. Because the truth is you are lovable and powerful. So the whole universe supports that realization, and the whole universe supports you in realizing that. But every lie you tell about yourself, you have to do it all by yourself, and then elicit certain people who will help reinforce that for you at your request. So you overlook everybody who would support you and nurture you, and you focus all your attention on everybody who judges you and criticizes you, because you need help to really feel bad about yourself, because nothing in the universe is really helping you do that. So you either got to have relationships that help you do it, or you got to constantly tell yourself something that's not true about you. Because the universe will not support what you believe about yourself that's not true, so you have to make it up. And that's why it's a lie, because it's made up. Because you are loved completely. Everything's been given you. You are included in all the good of the universe. The only reason why we don't experience it is because of the story we're attaching to the feelings that we have all day. And we choose the story, so we choose the feeling. I choose the story, so I choose the feeling, because I choose the story. I choose the feeling because I choose. Why am I doing this? Because I want to remember this. I want to remember this. I want to remember this. Because my ego wants me to go. So what do? I'm proactive. I am responsible for what I see. I choose the feelings I experience, and I decide upon the goal I will achieve, and everything didn't happen to me I asked for. See, that's why I stood up today, because my ego is trying to block me right now because I'm making such realizations of the truth. And I'm not giving it to my ego with the going to sleep, not being conscious, not focused. I'm sick of struggle for me on any level. So I will get in control of this freaking guy called Earl Purdy and move his ass. You understand what I'm saying? You know, I am responsible. Of course, part of me feels stupid and silly doing this in front of y'all, especially if y'all sitting there doing this. So it takes guts on my part to go ahead and do this anyway. You see what I'm saying? I'm having to be proactive because I want out of any pain, any fear, any boredom, anything in my life that's not satisfying me. I've had it. I've had it. If this book says to me, say this, and I'll have the change, I'm going to say it until I get blue in the face.
Yes.
Because that's easier than going to a job I don't like. That's easier than being in a relationship with somebody who I have nothing in common with, that we don't enjoy each other at all. That's easier than being on a job, I'll say it again, that I hate, which most people I talk to are always doing. That's easier than worrying about bills being paid all the time and working 50 or 60 hours a week. This is easier than everything that my ego comes up for me to do. So I'd rather say this than do what I did 30 years ago, which was climb telephone poles, scared I was going to fall and break my butt every day, kill myself so that I could make a salary, so that I could take care of my responsibilities. And I would do that 6 hours a week, but won't say this for 5 friggin' minutes. And I watched how crazy I was. I was like, man, you out of your mind. You can say this right here and watch your whole life change, but you don't have time for this, Earl. But you spend the rest of the day trying to figure out how you're going to handle everything that's coming up for you to deal with this month. But you must be loving yourself more. How do I know I'm loving myself more? Because I'm willing to do the simple thing and watch it work. And it works. It's a freaking trip. But it's hard as heck to convince people of that who don't do it. But anybody that does knows what I'm talking about, and they'll say, you know what, you're right. Because they're having that experience too. Unless you've made it up in your mind that life is a struggle and you have to struggle, and so everything has to be hard for you, you actually resent me saying that it's little that you have to do if you're working your can off right now and it don't look like it's really working the way you want it to work, and someone says, it could be easy. What the hell, it could be easy? And then your reality reflects back to you, the hell, it could be easy, and then you get a chance to be right because your reality is giving you that hell. But you don't realize it's giving you that hell because you want to be right more than you want to have an easy life. So the court says, well, how do you get out of that? Admit you have been mistaken. Say, I'm making a mistake. I'm struggling. It's a mistake. I'm struggling. It's a mistake. I feel alone. I'm making a mistake. I feel like I'm not abundant. I'm making a mistake. I'm making a mistake. It's a mistake. It's a mistake. That's what I do to say Earl all day long. It's a mistake. It's a mistake. Every time you feel afraid, every time you feel upset, it's a mistake. 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 Medium rare. I want a medium rare steak. Anybody want a juicy mistake? Y'all want to come to Purdy's Steakhouse? Purdy's Steakhouse? What you gonna order? You know what I'm saying? A correction. I want a correction. I want this correction. I want this miracle. I want this correction. I want this miracle. That's all on the menu. And I'll bring it to you. I'll support you in it.
Yes.
Because you are entitled to miracles. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to have a life that's easy. You deserve to be a living example of what the love of God can do for a person, so that your life can be an example of that for everybody around you. They'll see your life being so fulfilled that they'll go, what is it that you're doing? I think I kind of want to know what you're doing. That's what you want to be. You want to be a living example of what love can do, so that you become a living witness that God exists, that love exists, that happiness exists. So how can you be an example of something that you refuse to let yourself be? How can I be an example of something I refuse to let myself be? So I want to be an example of joy. I want to be an example of abundance. I want to be an example of freedom. I want to be an example of love. I want to be an example of the faith in God. I want to be an example of what life should really be like on earth, that's unbelievably joyful.
All right.
That's what I want to be. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for letting us repeat that to ourselves over and 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 over on non-labor day. Non-labor day. Non-labor. We celebrate what? Non-labor day. We're going to do non-labor day. We're going to do non-labor day. So I'm going to do the financial expressions of appreciation right now. Thank you for sharing with me in my full-time teaching ministry with the Course in Miracles. Really, really, really appreciate you. For those out there in internet land, thank you so much for all the comments and all the support that I've been receiving from all over the world, literally. It's been a trip. Tripped me out. I got an email from somebody who was working with the refugees in Sudan. I don't know how in the heck they was watching my classes, but somehow or other it was helpful. Woo! Also on the 11th, I'm going to do a class on Tuesday nights from 7 to 8:30. It's going to really be about going deeper. I'm going to get some stuff in the email. If you're not on my email list, you might want to make sure you're on there, because this is going to be unlike anything that I've done in terms of how freaking deep it's going to be and all the different things I'm going to cover. And it's going to be theory and practical application, because that's what time it is. So that you walk out of the door with something you can actually apply that night to change your experience. So it's not going to be just listen to more concepts. Just like this wasn't, if you be honest about it. We were given things, we were given something to do. We were given something to remember. We were given something to apply. And all you have to do is remember it. So that's why I was saying it over and over again. So that the next time I'm upset, I'll go, everything that seems to happen to me right now, I'm asking for it and receiving it as I have asked. I'm asking for this and I've received it as I have asked. I'm asking for this. I'm choosing. And what am I responsible for? Whether I see love or fear. Everybody in your life is responsible for what they're going through. Everybody in your life is responsible for what they're going through. Everybody in your life is responsible for what they're going through. You are not responsible for what anyone else experiences. You are not responsible for what anyone else experiences. You are not responsible for what anyone else experiences. Everyone you know, whether they're conscious of it or not, whether they admit it or not, whether they believe it or not, they are creating every perception, every experience that they're experiencing. They have the choice of experiencing something else. So stop walking around, Earl, feeling like you're heavy because of how you think you're affecting someone else. You can't affect anyone else. You can only affect yourself. You can only affect yourself. No one has been harmed by you. No one has been hurt by you. Doesn't that feel good? But it doesn't feel good sometimes to hear that nobody's hurt you. See, I'm willing to say, oh, that sounds good. You mean I've never hurt anybody? But for me to flip and say, oh my God, then that means I have to say that nobody's done anything to me. And I'm willing to say right now, whether I believe it or not, whether I see it that way or not, whether I always think that's true. Universe, I'm taking 100% responsibility for the experience that I'm having in my life right now. I'm taking 100%. Earl Purdy is taking 100% responsibility for every single solitary thing that happens to him in his experience, and he's admitting that every single thing that's ever happened to him since the day he was born, up to including his race, his sex, his parents, the situations and circumstances he was born within, the entire experience of the civil rights movement, all segregation, all oppression, my Black Power days, all of it. And the afro was so big I could not walk down the street. My afro was so big I walked down the street like this. Stop that there. Now, sometimes I could use it as a lethal weapon. Those days are gone now. Take responsibility right now. Own it. Stop blaming your parents. Don't you blame your parents one more time for nothing you're going through. Nothing. Don't blame your ex-boyfriend, your ex-girlfriend, your ex-husband, that intimate relationship you had with a sheep. Nothing. The sheep asked for it too. And as a matter of fact, your sheep's favorite song was "Bad, I'm bad, I'm really, really bad." Okay, close your eyes. We get ready to go out into the world. I just want y'all to relax. I don't want y'all to work. I just want y'all to relax. And let me sing you a little lullaby. You are responsible for what you see. The love, the abundance, the joy, the right relationships, everything that's moving your heart right now you're grateful for. You choose the feelings that you experience, the feelings of joy, the feelings of gratitude, the feelings of laughter, the feelings of openness, the feelings of honesty, the feelings of passion, the feelings of joy. You decide upon the goal you would achieve. You decide upon the goal you would achieve. And your goal is God. Your goal is freedom. Your goal is happiness. Your goal is joy. Your goal is aliveness. Your goal is to be thrilled. Your goal is to be healed. Your goal is to be loved. Your goal is to experience miracles. Your goal is to experience support. Your goal is to experience oneness. Your goal is to experience fulfillment. And everything, all the wonderful things that's happened to you this year, the relationships, the blessings, the friendships, the awakening, the opening, the joy, the affection, the dancing, the meditating, the laughing, everything that seems to happen to you. You ask for, and you receive as you have asked. So ask for a miracle. Tell yourself, I am entitled to miracles. I am entitled to miracles. I am entitled to miracles. So I want you to take a minute right now. Ask for something you want. Don't judge yourself. Don't ask yourself whether it's spiritual enough. If you need your utility bill paid, ask for that. If you need to wake up to who you really are as an infinite being, ask for that. Don't judge your request. Don't judge your request, whether or not they're spiritual enough. But take a moment right now and let's all silently ask for something we want. Express gratitude for what you've already received. Go, I thank my Creator for its gifts to me. I thank my Creator for its gifts to me. I thank my Creator for its gifts to me. I thank my Creator for its gifts to me. Would you acknowledge yourself? You see. Sweet. Come on now, give it to y'all. Come on. If you look around and give it to everybody else that's in this room, make a little eye contact with somebody. And just let them know you appreciate them. Because we are having some stone love. And hugs are available. Have a great non-Labor Day weekend.